These men, American soldiers and an Afghan interpreter, were wounded during a sophisticated night attack on an Afghan police compound that used an exploding handcart to breach the walls and then sent 3 suicide bombers through the hole. They are just some of the latest casualties in America's longest war, a 9-year conflict that has already taken the lives of more than 1,200 American troops and 10 times as many Afghan civilians. And this year's fighting season, when insurgent activity heats up with the weather, has already been one of the deadliest so far.
They know and we know that they can't face us one for one. So, yeah, we're seeing some, IEDs and some typical cowardly acts of the Taliban, the insurgents.
Oh, some money. Bag. Yep, I got it.
At this frontline combat aid station, American Army medics fight to save the lives of 2 Afghan men critically wounded in a roadside bomb attack. Here in Kandahar province, where Afghan Taliban leader Mullah Omar began building the hardcore religious movement that once ruled the country from 1996 to 2001, a delayed U.S. offensive to break the back of the Taliban in their own stronghold is still being hammered together. And when General David Petraeus arrived in Afghanistan on the 4th of July to take charge of all coalition troops here in the aftermath of the firing of General Stanley McChrystal, many of the 30,000 new ground troops, key to the strategic surge, are not even in place yet, giving the Taliban time to plan and build up their defenses.
Lieutenant, how do these people react to you guys?
They usually just let us go by. When we drive by, they give us tough looks, but when you're down face to face with them, they smile and wave at you.
A top priority is freedom of movement, and that requires finding and defeating roadside bombs, which account for more deaths here than any other weapon. New technology has helped, like ground-penetrating radar, to locate the explosives, and these vehicles called Buffaloes, with hydraulic arms that can sift or probe, while its V-shaped hulls can deflect blasts to either side rather than absorbing it. And robots are playing a larger role in both the detection and destruction of insurgent bombs.
Yep. Pressure plate IED, it's one yellow jug with a PMN mine.
It's no doubt that these vehicles are saving lives, but they're not cheap. A single convoy can cost up to $5 million. And the Taliban is trying to counter these high-tech challenges by going low-tech, building explosives out of plastic and wood nearly undetectable to these multi-million-dollar vehicles. But security alone won't end the insurgency and bring peace to Afghanistan. That will take the development of a civil society based on the rule of law. And while bureaucrats and civil planners are also part of that Afghan strategy, the U.S. military is taking a lead role in that arena too. Lieutenant Colonel John Voorhees is the commander of the 504th Military Police Battalion and is tasked to help stand up a more professional police force in Kandahar province. With the Afghan National Police, or ANP, widely viewed as ill-trained, ineffective, and corrupt, that will be a difficult task in itself. But the provincial police chief says that doubling the pay for police officers to the equivalent of $240 a month and improving training has gone a long way in rehabilitating the reputation of the ANA.
It is a big change happened in Kandahar city because the yesterday police is not the police today.
But Voorhees is already looking past the street cop part of the equation. What concerns him is that police are making arrests, but few of the cases get prosecuted. He wants to set up a mentoring program for police investigators so they can build better cases. Only one problem: out of 150 investigators, only 45 can even read or write. The rest are illiterate. He's undaunted.
Honestly, I've seen the same thing in Iraq. What you have to do is just keep looking over your shoulder and see how far you've come. Honestly, I'm encouraged. I mean, I've faced more difficult challenges in other situations.
So much is in flux in Afghanistan at the moment, from the military surge strategy to the political environment. The only thing that does seem certain is that major resources are being funneled into the region for a final showdown. It may be the last chance to convince the people here that the Afghan government can be trusted and relied on as a viable alternative to the Taliban in providing security and services, despite years of evidence to the contrary. The long, hot summer has just begun. Reporting for the Global Post, I'm Kevin Seitz in Kandahar Province, Afghanistan.